For centuries, the fraternity of Freemasonry has attempted to achieve three goals: to promote personal development by reinforcing moral principles, to assist those suffering unfortunate circumstances, and to foster friendship and cooperation among all peoples. In short, admit those men who believe in God and have chosen to be good in their daily life, then teach them how to be better than they were the day before. Freemasonry has striven to achieve these goals without preference to age, race, religious beliefs, or socioeconomic status. Because of this indifference, Freemasonry spread throughout Europe and ultimately came to the New World in the early 1600s.
Well, Freemasonry is an organization that is the oldest fraternity in the world. It has attracted men from all over the world that many people are familiar with. Of course, they're familiar with Americans like George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Harry Truman. But they also might be interested to know that Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Goethe were Masons, that Garibaldi, the father of the Italian independence movement, was a Mason, that Louis Kossuth, who tried to gain independence for Hungary, was a Mason, that Simón Bolívar of South America was a Freemason. And there is a host of people throughout the world who believe in the values of what is right and what is good, what is ethical, what is logical, what is rational, and who are men of faith, who all were attracted to the fraternity because it exemplified those values, and those values then could assist them in changing the world to become better, to become a society based on faith, on morality, on logic, on reason, under the fatherhood of God.
My dad was a master mason up in Fond du Lac, and he was a past master. He, when I turned 21, was of the old school, and he said, if you're interested in masonry, he says, ask me about it. End of conversation. And then when I turned 35 or thereabouts, he said the same thing to me again. Nothing else. When I got into my late 40s and early 50s, I began to realize just what a major influence he was in my life. And especially when he died in '86, I got realized very much that he was the kind of man I wanted to be. And I looked at him and I said, no, could it be church? And he was active in church, but not, extraordinarily so. Scouting. He was quite active in scouting for 20 years as a scoutmaster, but he wasn't doing much with that anymore. And then I thought of masonry. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, yeah, I read about it, and I realized that he was being a good Mason. And I said, if it's good enough for my dad, it's good enough for me. And I've never regretted a moment of it.
In 1844, a Grand Lodge of the Territory of Wisconsin was formed, and 1 year after that, on January 10th, 1845, Madison Lodge No. 5 was granted its charter by the first Grand Master of the Territory of Wisconsin and Methodist preacher Benjamin T. Kavanaugh. The fee was $13. Lodge No. 5 was the first lodge to be formed in the city of Madison, and its first master was this man, John Catlin, who would later become Madison's first postmaster and attorney general.
Going to the East, I know that when I last year was headed into that position, and I've been in Masonry now for 6 years, when I was headed into that position, I asked several past masters to tell me what I should know going into it, and how I'd come out different. And it's not that they didn't want to answer that for me, but I don't think they could. I don't know if they could put it into words. So I'm going to do the best I can to put that into words, because that has been probably the truest Masonic experience I've had, okay? There are things in life that I want to accomplish. I've always wanted to accomplish. And maybe before being a Mason, I thought that some of those things were out of reach. Nothing is out of reach. And I honestly do believe that. And I really do credit Masonry for teaching me a lot of that. I credit being in the East for teaching a lot of that to me. There's so much that a man any person could accomplish. They first have to plan out what that is. They next have to say they're going to accomplish it, and they have to put action towards it. If I learned anything, maybe my lesson was in action. Maybe it was not just saying what I thought something was, but now I say something, and every time I say something, I do it. I do it too. And that's the kind of man I want to be. I guess before that, I dreamed of who I wanted to be. Now that I'm a Mason, I dream about it, and then I pursue it. And that's what the East taught me. That's what the people around me taught me. That's what the craft taught me. There's always better. I'm going to get there. I can thank Masonry for a lot of that.
As a person who has great aspirations, I am very confident and humbled in knowing that my Masonic brothers will be able to help me and encourage me get to where I want to be. I have a passion for public service. I have a passion to help people, and there are tons of other Masons that feel the same. We are obligated to help those who can't help themselves, and we're obligated to be involved in civic activities, and I think that's very important. And so I'm very excited about the fact that I will be able, along with my other brothers, over the next couple generations, to help influence those generations in being involved in their communities and helping those less fortunate.
It's kind of tough for me to come up with one thing in particular that's really been meaningful to me in my Masonic journey. There have been so many points that have just been incredible and have been amazing learning experiences for me. Regardless of where you are, you can almost always find a Masonic lodge, and 9 times out of 10, you can go right in there and you can sit down and you can talk with a brother, and they're going to say, hey, you know, we've got this going on, or, you know, we may not have any events going on right now, but hey, why don't we go out to dinner? That'd be great while you're in town. And it's that type of brotherhood that really makes our organization what it is. It really is one of a kind, and I'd say that's probably been one of the greatest experiences for me, has just been meeting the variety of men that I have, and having that camaraderie.
For longer than Masons can even document, Masonry has been helping good men become better men. Men from every walk of life, every region of the world, every age group, and every religion. Men like counts and dukes. From kings to the chief of the Mohawks, to a royal tutor, from peasants to presidents, from politicians to patriots, from the fathers of a great nation to the grandfather of jazz. We have sung their songs. We have marveled at their creations. They have taken us to places once thought impossible. And we have followed them to the greatest victory mankind has ever known. Since 1845, Madison Lodge No. 5 has been a proud chapter of Freemasonry in Wisconsin. We look forward to the next 150 years.